This new MG Cyberster electric car has a really cool feature, like a Lamborghini. Look, we have scissor doors. Love them. That makes it feel so expensive. And another advantage of these doors is that it gives you great access. You can even get in and out easily in tight spaces. Plus you can walk through it like a total show off. Look at that. Amazing. Right, let's start this video by talking about the design of the Cyberster. From the front, it looks great. Love that sloping nose, the way it goes all the way down. It's really quite sleek. And yes, there are a few fake vents there. I don't mind those, but at least these vents are real. I also like the design in the lights. Look at this patterning here. It's just a shame you can't get matrix LEDs, which will blank out part of their beam. You don't get them on this. Oh well. Let's move down the side. Alloy wheels, start at 19 for the rear wheel drive version, 20s for this four wheel drive version. And cool brake calipers. They're Brembos, but they've got the MG logo on there. You've also got the MG logo there on the center caps. See this strake here? If this was on a BMW, it'd be fake, but if you look closely in here, look, it's actually a little vent, so it does release pressure in the wheel arch. The lines on the side of the car look really good, the way they converge. And down here, you have like this side skirt with 100th anniversary, because it's MG's 100th anniversary. Who knew? I didn't know, and I'm British. A couple of things I don't like. This button here for opening the door, it's in this pod, and then there's this like spot. That's a sensor. There's another one there on the side of the door. Looks like a zit, doesn't it? It's like it's got a pimple. Those are to prevent the doors opening into things. So they couldn't have hidden those. In terms of the roof, you can get it in either black or red. Looks good in red, especially with this colour here. It's kind of like strawberries and cream, isn't it? However, that brings me on to what I'm not so keen on in terms of the design, and it is the rear part of it. It's got a really long and sloping rear deck. Also not the biggest fan of the design of these rear lights with the arrows and the brake lights. Sort of decent idea, but just looks a bit clumsy and childish. I do like this though, the big MG badge there rather than on the back. That's quite cool. I think this car looks more expensive than it actually is. I mean, it's not cheap, right? Look, it starts from £55,000 going up to £60,000 for this all-wheel drive version. It's not too bad. I really like the interior design of this new MG Cyberster. The way you've got a really driver-focused cockpit that wraps around you, and the passenger is in their own little separate area there. Sort of reminds me of a Corvette Z06, and if you want to see exactly what I mean, you can watch my video review of that car by clicking on the pop-out banner or following the QR code up there. Now, in terms of the interior quality, it's very nice. The leather feels good, even though it's not actually leather. This car is vegan friendly. You've got Alcantara there, and you've got this two-tone effect, and if you want, you can have this in red. It looks like this. It's pretty bold. You've got this sporty steering wheel here. It's got a flat bottom on it, and you've got various functionality on it, such as your regen effect there. You can alter your driving mode is on that paddle. You can go into your super sport mode there as well, and I'll tell you what that is for a little bit later in the video. On here you have various buttons to control various functions on the infotainment system, and rather just being touch sensitive, they're little like joysticks and quite easy to use. So you can accidentally knock them and like turn up the volume on the stereo, so on and so forth. Anyway, that brings me on to the infotainment system. So you've got these three screens here in the driver's display. This side does all your navigation and your Apple CarPlay and so on and so forth. It's a touch screen, but it's a bit laggy, and you can control it by swiping through the different settings there like that. Look, it goes through different ones. Bum, 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 bum. Right, then over this side you have things like trip data, cycle through like that, the weather, what different MG dealers are, charging information, all that kind of stuff as well. And another feature, which once again I'll show you later in the video, and there you have your main driving information, and you can change the view and information shown on there, and depending on which driving mode you're in, it will change color. So that's all good. What's not so good though is this, right? I'm going to show you something that's not so good about it, and I'm going to take the camera for that. Right, you ready for this? Look, can you see the problem? I'm driving along. I can see that, but I can't really see my sat nav, so I have to bear around my hands and the steering wheel. Driving along, and yeah, I want to check that out. Oh no, I've got to look around the steering wheel. I don't think that's a great idea. Anyway, let's move down to this other screen we got down here, which has things like your temperature control. Things like that. Look, the heat seats are quite small to touch, so that's quite small, quite difficult to do when you're driving. Still, you do have some shortcut buttons up here for your climate control, and while they are touch sensitive, they do have haptic feedback like your mobile phone, so they vibrate when you press them, and then you can do colder and hotter on there as well. And then you've got other functions as well that you can swipe through, like all the seating controls, lighting, blah, 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 blah. Lots of functionality all through this little screen. Thankfully, this screen seems to be a bit zippier than the ones up here. One thing I'm not so keen on, this pod here for your gear select. So drive is down here, neutral's there, reverse is up there, and then sparks there. Takes up quite a lot of space for something that could be controlled just by a little lever. Don't know why they've done that, but they have, haven't they? Another thing that's a bit weird is, obviously being a roadster, sports car, you think you're going to sit like really low down in it, but you actually sit quite high in this car. I think it's because it's got a skateboard design in terms of the battery pack is underneath you, which means your seats have to be higher than they would be in an internal combustion engine car. As a result, you can't get the seat, oh wait there, the controls there, quite as low as you like. Look, that's fully down, fully down. And if you go a bit further back, you'll see, go on, move further back, you'll see that my head is pretty much level with the windscreen. If you're over 6 foot, your head is going to be poking out the top. That is a bit of a shame, but it's not a deal breaker. Anyway, let's check out some of the storage solutions in here. So look, we've got some storage down here. You've got your USB normal, your USB-C, some storage there. I think that's for like, I don't know, maybe. And then I like the cup holders, so when they're not in use, they look like this. When they are, you push those down like that. And then you can fit your bottles in. But can they fit a larger bottle? Just. Oh, it's hard to get it out. Then you press a button in here. Look, you can see this one over this side better. See that button? Press that, and it pops back up. Then let's have a look at the glove box. Lined with felt, it's a decent size. Now you've got some more storage here. If you look, there's this shelf behind the seats where you can put stuff, and you've got these nets to keep things in place. Plus there's this, look, little hook for hanging a bag off. You've got a speaker there, it's a bass tube. You've got other speakers behind you, and in the door you've got some really nice big silvery speakers there, because you get a Bose sound system as standard. Oh yeah, look at this. That actually feels expensive, and this reminds me of the vanity mirror on a Ferrari. It's probably better than on a Ferrari actually. Now let's check out the boot, but before we do, have a look at the car with the roof up. Do you like it? Definitely works well with the red roof, doesn't it? Now I do have a slight issue with the layout of the boot release and the boot hatch itself. So you press this button to open it, but when you're stood up here, you think you're going to grab that bit, but you actually have to go like that and lift that bit. You'd get used to that after time though, wouldn't you? Let's face it. So the capacity is 250 litres. Better than a Mazda MX-5. Not as good as a Tesla Model 3 Performance, which you might be thinking, wait a minute, why are you comparing this Roadster to a Model 3 Performance? Well, that's supposed to be a sporty car according to Tesla, and it is more practical, and it's also very quick. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of the new Tesla Model 3 Performance, click on the pop-out banner up there, or follow the QR code on screen now. This boot here does have quite a low lip to lift stuff over. There's a few storage areas there. There's another one on the other side. Underneath here, there is no storage. What about the space though? Is it usable? Let's find out by doing the CarWow man test. Go on, man, get in the boot. He doesn't want to do this at all. No. Imagine, right, you've got someone coming to murder you, and the only way to get away or hide is in this boot. Your life depends on hiding in this boot. He's coming, he's got a big axe, he's got a huge, right. No, no, you're getting axed to death. And you've just been axed from this show. James, get out of shot. That brings on to 5 annoying things about this car. If you're parking the car sideways on a slope, then the electric mechanism in the doors doesn't operate fully. Watch this. So I'm going to open the door, just opens it to there. Then you have to do the rest yourself like this. Oh. And that brings you on to another problem with this car. You see, the doors do actually open and close on electric power quite slowly when you're on a flat anyway. And if you're in a bit of a rush, especially to shut the doors, you end up fighting against the mechanism. Watch this, I'm going to try and shut the door quickly. Come on! Oh, not ideal for a fast getaway. Being an electric car with a long bonnet, surely we've got some good storage underneath here. Oh, and it appears there's various storage pods. Let's open them up and have a look. Oh, no storage under there. Oh dear. Under this one maybe. Ugh. Oh, no real storage under there. Maybe this one is the storage area. Let's have a look under here. Oh, no. Let's put all these back. I'm just going to leave it, I can't be bothered. When you're driving at night, that screen there reflects badly in this part of the window, and it sort of gets in the way of your view in the side mirror, which is not ideal. Now obviously you can't see it during the daytime, but I'll give you an idea of what it's like. But you can see it a bit now. Obviously it's way worse at night when everything is all dark. Drives me mad. I appreciate the fact that you do have some door bins and they're covered so things don't drop out of them when you raise the door, but they are rather small, way too small for a bottle of water. This grab handle looks really cool and it's handy for the passenger if you're driving quickly. However, there is an issue. Can you see it or not see it? Yeah, well, if you're the passenger, you can't really see to operate the climate control, and to try and like reach around there and operate your temperature controls, it's rather awkward. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. This roof mechanism is blooming rapid. Let's get a timer up there. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, go! Done. This car is really well equipped. As standard, you get a 360-degree view camera, which I can configure onto that button there. Nice. You also get adaptive cruise control, which will automatically steer to keep you in lane, and ambient lighting with a lot of different colour choices. Look. Ooh. Lovely. The Cyberstar has something called vehicle to load, which enables you to actually power proper household electrical appliances from its battery. For instance, I've got a coffee machine here, just put that there, just open this up, whack the pod in, then press the button. Okay, so it's not plugged in. You need an adapter. I haven't got the adapter, but it does work. I've tested it on a different car on a different day. This car has an active grille, so the flap in there can open and shut depending on whether your battery pack and stuff needs cooling or not. Obviously it will shut when it doesn't to improve the air and reduce drag to maximise your efficiency. You can hear now the fans are on because there is some cooling required, so it's open. I really like the way you can alter the volume of all the different audible functions separately. So you just go onto that, then into that menu, and you can change the volume for the stereo, your volume for your phone call, the volume for your sat nav, and the volume for your spoken instructions voice assistant thingy-majiggy. The MG Cyberstar has a 74 kilowatt hour battery pack, but you can have it in 2 different versions. There's the Trophy, which is rear wheel drive, and it has 340 horsepower and a maximum range of 316 miles. Then there's this GT version, which is 4-wheel drive because it's got 2 motors, one at the back, one at the front, and combined you have 510 horsepower. And you know what? It only costs £5,000 extra. £5,000 extra for 160 more horsepower and 4-wheel drive? Yes please, sign me up for that. There are some downsides though. You have slightly reduced range, 276 miles on a full charge, and it's slightly heavier, though both versions of the Cyberstar are rather porky. The Trophy weighs in at about 1.9 tonnes and this GT is almost 2 tonnes. Right, first thing in the Cyberstar, let's see if I can get some looks while cruising about. If I was in a Porsche Boxster, no one would care, but might they be interested in this? Though this is a bit like a ghost town right now. It's quite nice just cruising along with the roof down in town at slow speed, the car silent. I tell you what I also like, I mean sometimes with electric cars with the regen braking, the brakes can feel a bit grabby. They're not too bad in this. And of course you've got 1-pedal drive, and I've got it in 1-pedal drive mode. I'll switch out of that later, but for round town 1-pedal drive is good. So you just lift up the accelerator and it'll come to a standstill, the car will. Don't have to touch the brake. I'm going to do a U-turn. Turning circles, 10.9 meters. I'm going to whack up the 360 camera so I can see what's going on. I'm going to see if I can U-turn in here. Should be able to, given those dimensions. And this is going to help me, which I'm having to peer around the steering wheel to see. Plenty of space to make it round, all very easy. And the visibility actually is quite good. Apart from this pillar, massive blind spot, but obviously with the roof down, good view out over your shoulder and stuff like that. Now, are people looking? Is anyone looking? Look, they're looking. They were looking. I'm going to operate my door. Let me operate my door. I want someone to look at me. Anybody? Look at my door. Look at my door. She don't care. Look at my door. Come on. I'll accidentally press the horn, maybe. Look at my door. Didn't care. That's like, even honked. Look at my doors. Sod it. Let's go. What's wrong with people? Actually, I have just noticed a problem. This rollover hoop up here does create a bit of a blind spot when you're trying to reverse out like this. Yeah, let's look at this. Look at my door. Guys, ready? I'm going to do my door again. Look here. Door. Anyone? Look at my doors. Do you like my door?
That's pretty cool.
It's alright, isn't it? It's a new MG. Yeah, I'm filming a review of it right now.
How are you?
Yeah. Do you like it?
I do like it.
Look at the doors. It's like a Lamborghini. Yes, come on. See, it's working now. People like it. Look, come on, take a photo.
I'd rather have the S3, to be honest.
Shut up about the S3.
Yeah, I really dig that colour.
Yeah, the colour's good, isn't it?
Cheers, Matt.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
He absolutely loves these sort of cars, sorry.
Don't get knocked over by the motorcycle. Yeah, you can get ones from the front as well. Don't worry. She's actually also taking a photo of our S3 trucking car. In fact, she's doing more photos of that. Wait a minute. What's that? You never seen one? Yeah, brand new. MG Cyberster. It's electric. You're going to see the door again. Look. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Recently I was in Thailand. They've got a big factory out there.
Have they? Look at the door though.
That's
It's all about the doors. See you later.
Thanks very much.
Right, let's get out of here. Sorry everybody, I'm just an attention seeker, I can't help it. One thing that's also interesting is the suspension on this. So there's no adaptive dampers, so when you change to driving modes it doesn't alter the stiffness of the suspension, and generally when you go over bumps it's not uncomfortable. However, there is a slight bouncy feeling to the suspension. Bit more on that in a moment. Now, one of the good things about this car is that if you've got a little bit embarrassed by showing off too much, you can hide your shame by putting the roof up, and it'll do it when you're driving at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour. So here we go. When you're just pootling around with the roof up, it's very, very, very quiet. But what about when you're going a bit faster? Well, we'll find out in a moment. What I'm going to do first of all though is go into my driving modes and come out of one pedal drive. So I have to do that, and now I can actually alter the regen using this paddle. So I can set it just as I like it, or go into automatic mode by pulling and holding the paddle, and I think that is better. Then the car will figure out how much regen to apply depending on the road or how close you are to the car in front. At 50 miles an hour it's quite quiet in here. A little bit of tyre noise, but obviously you notice that kind of thing more when you haven't got an internal combustion engine. Right, I've slowed down to 40 miles an hour. We're going to see the pickup on this car to 70. This will blow your mind. Just watch the speed climb. So here we go. 40. 3, 2, 1, go. So quick. Right, what I'm going to do now is slow it down and put the roof back down. So get into 30. So quick. Let's see how sporty the Cyberster is. Steering's alright, it's fairly accurate, grip's good, and yeah, the punch out of bends is insane. It just grabs onto the road and hauls itself up it. However, I'm noticing now this bit's a little bit kind of uneven and the car feels quite fidgety. It's a bit like bouncing around. And if you really fire it forward, you can feel it start to skip and lose some composure. Like the best sports cars just still hunker themselves down over poorer surfaces. Don't get me wrong, this thing will cover ground pretty fast. But, you know, if you want proper like old school sports car thrills, it doesn't have it. And I think being electric doesn't help, because there's just something about like revving out an internal combustion engine, especially with a manual gearbox, hearing it scream with the roof down. You just don't get that with this electric sports car. Actually, just there is a good example of how the suspension doesn't feel that composed over sudden bumps when you're going through corners and like accelerating. I think this car is better enjoyed as more of a top-down cruiser. Throwing a sporty car down a twisty road and going out for an entertaining drive at the weekend just for the thrill of driving, this doesn't really have that kind of quality. Instead, check out my in-depth video review of a Porsche Boxster by clicking on the pop-out banner or following the QR code on the screen now. MG says this car will do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Let's time it with a specialist timing gear. Launch control mode is activated. bit slower than I thought it would do. 3.4. Let's try again. It's consistent, isn't it? I don't know if it's to do with the battery being at 69%, but that's still quite a lot. Do you know what? I'm going to give it one more go. Don't know if it's going to make a difference. Let's find out. Here we go. I mean, it feels rapid, like proper rapid. Whoop! Straight on the brakes. 3.4 again. I mean, it's quick. 3.4 again. It does it in 3.4, not 3.2. It's 3.4. 0.2 of a second is not that much, is it, really? So then, what's my final verdict on the new MG Cyberster? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? It's a bit of a tricky one, this. You see, if you want a roadster that is just awesomely involving to drive, do not get this. Get yourself a Porsche Boxster. The entry-level car is similar money to this. However, if you want an electric convertible or a convertible that's really good for cruising and has bags of performance for the money, well, this is the only car you can buy right now, so go right ahead and buy it. Which means that I've got to find an average point of avoid it to go right ahead and buy it. So I should say maybe you should just shortlist the MG Cyberster. Bit of a confusing verdict, but it's a very unique car of which there are no true competitors right now. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to watch some other videos, click on the windows. And if you want to sell your car, the easy way to buy something like one of these, or maybe a Porsche Boxster, I don't know, then just click on the CarWow logo to sell your car through CarWow and have dealers all across the country bid on it. Thanks for watching.